Today, I have the opportunity to speak with Lia Dias. She is a wife, mother, CEO, and a true visionary here in Los Angeles. Lia founded the Girl Cave L.A., and she now has over 6 beauty supplies under her Girl Cave franchise. As Black women, we often don't even second guess the fact that we are buying hair care products from people who do not look like us, and oftentimes they have very little respect for people in the Black community. Today, we will speak to Lia about her life growing up, her journey navigating an Asian dominated hair care industry, as well as balancing home and work, and owner of Hype Hair magazine. Lia, how are you today?
I'm well. Good to see you.
It's good to see you
It's
too.
always good to see you.
Likewise, likewise. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy woman balancing several businesses and home life. You recently bought a magazine.
Yeah. Not just a magazine, right? Like
Right.
Hype Hair magazine. It's
Right.
It's a big deal to us as
Right.
Black women because it wasn't Black owned when I purchased it. So
Okay.
that's something else to talk about.
Right. We'll definitely get into that for sure. I'm really excited to talk to you overall, and I'm really excited that you pulled up the day after your birthday,
Yeah.
actually. So happy birthday again.
Thank you.
How was your birthday?
It was so much fun. Honestly, I spent it with my closest friends and family, so I kept it small this year. I usually do like big over the top birthdays, but I was just in a different space this year. But it was fun. You could probably tell in my voice too, right? I'm losing it a little bit.
Oh, it's still there. Still
Okay.
there.
We had a good night.
Yeah. Well, as long as you enjoyed yourself,
Yeah.
that's what matters, because you work hard and you need to be celebrated for sure.
I needed to hear that. Thank you.
Off tops. So you're a woman who wears many hats, and a boss in every sense of the word. What would you say drives you most?
My ability to be able to take care of myself and my children. It's so important for me to be independent and to be able to provide an example because I have 2 girls. I don't want them to ever look at a government system, a man, anybody else except themselves, what's internal to be their source. And so really when I like wake up in the morning, I mimic what I want them to do. I really do. Like I want to be their first example. So that's my immediate thing. And the next is like outward, right? So it starts in the family, my kids, and then the next thing is the women that work with me, right? Like I want to model what that looks like for them too. So Ashley, Abriana, my COO, all the women that you see close with me, like we are like family. And so I tell them like when I eat, you guys eat too. Like it needs to be like that. And so it's really important to me that the women around me see me win because I want them to win too. That's a big deal. Yeah. And then, it trickles down. They see, my kids see it, my immediate circle sees it, and then the world sees it. And then hopefully people are inspired and say, wow, like she didn't start off with much, but look what she built. And then they're inspired by it too. So that's the big picture.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's kind of get into things that kind of like really interest me, which is like the background of a person, What was life growing up like for you? What would you say were some of the biggest like lessons that you think your parents were trying to show you?
Yeah, I grew up in Inglewood and Carson, like we moved back and forth, but I'm very aware that my upbringing is what put me here because my parents, and I lived in a 2-parent home. I went to private Christian school. Like I had a lot of luxuries because my parents worked really hard that I know a lot of my friends or people around me didn't have. So my mom was a registered nurse, but she had a side business, and my dad was an account executive for UPS. He stayed on his job for like 40 years. Like he just retired. Like I remember like as a kid, he used to drive like the UPS trucks. We get excited when you pull up on the block. You see my dad, he get out in his Browns. We was proud. You know what I mean? But it was my parents. They hustled really hard to make sure we didn't feel. Now I know they struggled, right? But I never felt it. Because they had 3 kids and they kept us in private school. So I had a really good childhood. Like I'm the oldest of 3 girls. So we had like lots of great memories. Like just my dad was like a superstar in our neighborhood. He was like, I can't even describe. He's still like a superstar. You go in one of my stores, my dad is like the man.
Nice.
But I had it good. I really had it good, but it's because my parents hustled.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, lessons. When you look back, what were some of the things that kind of stand out to you the most from your parents?
Man, so my mom, like I said, I'm my kid's first example. My mom was my first example because she was a registered nurse. She had 3 kids like I do. But that wasn't enough for her. So she created a whole business on the side, and she navigated having 3 kids, a full-time job, and a business. And then that wasn't enough. She went back and got her master's degree with 3 kids and a business. And you know what I mean? So when I think about like the things I complain about, I immediately say, your mom didn't complain. Like I never heard my mom complain ever. She just did it. She never complained to us. Maybe she complained to my dad, but I never heard her complain. And so the biggest lesson I learned is like whatever I have, like I just need to be grateful for it because my mom put my sisters and I in a position to be able to be here. So I don't have any like place to complain or like gripe or not be grateful. Cause it's whack. Like you've been given all of this. Like I don't take it lightly. So just I don't know. It sounds like a small thing, but it's a big thing. Like that impressionable stuff that I got, like my mom getting up at 6 a.m. Like I still get up at 6 a.m. every morning, no matter what. Like I could be on vacation, my biological alarm clock just like goes off at 6 a.m. Nice. And even if I'm not going to work, I make sure I'm doing something productive to move my business forward. And I saw my mom do it. So that's the biggest lesson. And I learned from my dad just being consistent. Because he wasn't as ambitious as my mom per se, because he didn't have all the businesses and stuff. But he showed up to work every day. I could count like 2 days. I remember my dad not going to work in 40 years. So that's dedication in another way. Right. So you fuse those 2 examples together. You can't mess up. Like you know what I mean? Like you have the perfect examples in front of you. So
right. Infuse those 2 together, you get Lia Dias.
I know, right? I'm Darwin and Bernice's child.
That's what's up. Love to see it. So when would you say that you began to develop like a sense of who Lia was? Like, do you remember like there was a certain age or certain like experiences?
I mean, I think I really became who I was like early because I had my daughter early. I had Kayla. I got pregnant when I was 18. I had her when I was 19. So I think being a mother so young really like forced me to like figure it out really quickly. So definitely having a kid young, definitely having to provide for myself because her dad was not in the picture. And then just through like this business life, like people try to remind me regularly that I'm not on their level, right? Like that's really what it is. Being a Black woman in certain industries, like people try to minimize you and don't want to celebrate you or tell you what you're not doing right. So I'm constantly like telling myself who I am because other people don't. My circle does, and I'm grateful for that. But the outside world, like, no, girl, people will try it.
I don't know why they would basically celebrate their competition in a sense, maybe, or their what they view as like the threat to what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we celebrate you all day,
I like how you
day.
put that. It is true.
You know,
it's a little bit of it can be intimidating, I guess, to like see women be successful. It's weird to me, but I guess I could see it. Especially in spaces where we're not supposed to be, right? Like beauty supply industry, even though we are the industry, we don't own the industry. That shift is happening, but I guess when I started, that didn't exist. We didn't own the industry. And you think about industries like tech and science and all of those things, like it's almost like intimidating for other groups to see us be in these spaces and thrive because we're not supposed to be there. That's the way they look at it. So you're right. Why would we be celebrated? They don't even want us there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
definitely. So let's talk a little bit about the hair care industry, and you being a Black woman entering a space where, as you say, we are the industry, but we didn't own the industry. There's shifts happening now, but it's still pretty much, from my outside looking in, pretty much still dominated by the Asian community. Can you talk at all from your research about how the Asians have came to dominate the Black hair care industry?
Yeah, I could give you the long story or the short stories. I'll give you the abbreviated way of it. So Ashley and I did a lot of research. Right. So when I first opened the first stores, it was like fascinating to me how much disrespect we got. Like we would go in and like try to open up an account and they would just say no. You'd be like, well, why not? Because I said so. Because I said no. You think like in America, how you gonna tell me no? Like you have to have a reason to tell me no. So we did like a lot of research and watched like documentaries and like went online and kind of searched for more information. And what we found out is that Black people, Black families own beauty supply stores. Asians, specifically Koreans, came in and figured out how to mass produce things like wigs. You know, wigs became popular and they figured out how to do it so quickly and so cheap. Because before, women would buy wigs and have to put on layaway and they would pay and pay. Like now you could go get a wig for $10. Korean people figured out how to do that. And so what they did is they got the government to support them in that. And they basically put a barrier around the hair care industry. And so you couldn't import hair from anywhere except from Asia. And so that kind of gave them the monopoly on the hair.
Right.
Once they had the monopoly on the hair, then they became in charge of the distribution of the products. So if I'm your distributor and you're a retailer and I say, you know what, guess what? Today, Lee, I don't want to sell to you. Now you can't be a retailer. And that's what happened. So Black people basically got edged out of the industry from the hair perspective. And then they stopped being able to become retailers because Asian people had the capital because they had such a lockdown on the hair market. They didn't need us anymore. Right? If you need hair care products and you go into a store, if you're not aware of what's happening, you're just going to buy it. Right. You don't realize that there's literally a whole wealth transfer happening behind the scenes, and that's what happened. And so now, why I feel like my space in this industry is so important and other Black women's space is so important is that we have to create capital so we can buy back portions of the industry, right? So I'm doing my part on the retail, but then I need to go into distribution. And we talked about this before. Like my ultimate goal is not to be a mass retailer. My ultimate goal is to be a distributor. So now I can be in control of who the retailer is. So if you come to me and you say, you know what, I only got 30 grand I want to open, I can give you that leverage. Like I'm not going to be like some of the other distributors were to me. And then with even making the products, like I'm even conscientious now. Like I really don't want to buy products that are not Black owned. Because why would I put tons of money into L'Oreal? I probably shouldn't say that because there's some of our advertisers. We'll cut that out. Okay, some of our advertisers are hype here.
We'll cut that out.
But you think about some of these big conglomerate companies that are white owned, and they literally make a subsect and put a Black girl on a package and say, oh, this is our ethnic market, right? Like they're making tons of money off their little ethnic market.
Right.
And so it's so important that when you go buy hair products, like you need to know what's Black owned and you need to buy Black owned hair products.
Right.
They're actually superior in how they perform on our hair because most of them are created by Black women. So they know what works on us.
Right.
Like, it's like, to me, it's a no-brainer. It should be Black owned products distributed by Black owned distributors, sold in Black owned retailers. Period. That's the way it should look. And we should not be a minority in a market where we're the majority of the consumer. It should reflect what the spending is. So if Black women are 99% the consumer, then Black people should be 99% the retailer. It shouldn't be that we're 99% the consumer and 1% the ownership.
Right. Okay.
Only in Black hair does that happen. It doesn't happen in any other market.
Right. So why do you think that Black people don't question the fact that I don't know how many, like if you were to go, well, I never been to Asia, so this was probably a terrible example, but why Black people don't question the fact that we have other groups of people who are setting up shop in a community. Well, actually, I guess I answered my own question. Is because it's like, well, if they weren't, where will we go, kind of thing,
Well, that's the thing, is strategic, right?
Right.
Like, you think about all the retailers that are in our neighborhoods. They don't live in our neighborhoods,
Right.
but they know there's dollars in our neighborhoods. So they live in Orange County or Cerritos, or pick a suburb that don't have Black people there.
Right.
And they live there, but they commute to our communities to take our dollars and take our dollars right back to their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be a mass awareness of what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, not to say like I spend money with all types of people, but I look to spend money with Black people first.
Right.
And that's a business practice for me inside of my business. Like, if I can, even if it costs me a few dollars more, it doesn't matter to me. If the quality is the same, that's what I'm concerned about. I don't care about the price.
Right.
But that's what it is. They know that Black people, we have money. Don't let people think like we're broke. We are consumers.
It's where we putting the money at. Right.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
And basically putting the money in smart places that'll, make it work for us and make us more money, because there's no way we walking around with all the Jordans and the iPhones and we don't got the money.
Right.
So.
And the 40-inch bundles down our back, right?
Right. So we got the money.
It's not cheap. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
It's an investment. Just like an iPhone is an investment.
Right.
A $300 pair of shoes is an investment. So you think about it, we have the capital, but how are we using it? And it's okay to spend it, but how are we spending it? And who are we spending it with?
Right.
Like, I don't have any, I'll go to a Black-owned restaurant, any place, I'll spend all my money. I don't care. But I'm not going to go to an establishment that's not Black-owned and you don't even want me there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And spend all my money.
Right.
Like, I'd rather go to the district or Champ City, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna go where I'm welcome.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. So. Okay. So let's talk about, well, you actually mentioned Champ City.
Yeah.
So, let's actually pivot into the fact that you have 6, soon 7 Girl Cave beauty supply franchises, but you also have other businesses, including a sports bar, like a bar.
Yeah, Champ City has evolved.
Okay,
so
let us know.
As a sports bar, but it's really turned into like a nightlife destination.
Hey,
it's fun. It's really fun. I love to be at Champ City.
Nice.
It's in the middle of Inglewood. Obviously, I'm born and raised in Inglewood, so that neighborhood is familiar to me. But it really was. I thought about it. I'm like, man, there's like really no place for us to go in Inglewood.
The Savoy ain't popping no more?
I'm happy you brought that up. So I brought the Savoy recently.
You bought it?
I brought the Savoy. Yeah. Literally, we just closed escrow like it's been 2 weeks now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, first person I told. I can't even believe I said it. Yeah. So
congratulations.
I know, right?
Oh, can you say that?
Yes, you can. Yeah, I can. Okay. Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay, well, we got one little exclusive right here.
We did.
That's
so it's
so tight.
My sisters and I.
Wow.
It's the 3 of us, and then my sister's partner. We were like, wait, the Savoy's on sale?
Oh, it was.
It was on sale. We saw the sign up, and I was like, hold
did they
up.
want over or under $1 million?
Over.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So not the business, the building. So we purchased the building.
Building.
Yeah.
Period.
Because it was like necessary for us to do it. Because I understand what's happening in Inglewood right now. I wanted to cry when I passed by Bourbon Street and I saw what they were doing. Like, Bourbon Street is gone. Like, you think of all the Black-owned, the M&M's on Manchester, Black-owned, gone. So you see what's happening in Inglewood. Like, Inglewood is my city. Like, I know every back street in Inglewood. I love the city of Inglewood, but I see what's happening. And I see that other races are coming in and benefiting off of our city. And they're literally pushing out our businesses one by one. Like, you think about it, Bourbon Street, the M&M's. I don't know what's going on with the GS, but they're closed. Like, it's all like now where you go to Hollywood Park Casino now, if you want to go out, if you live in Inglewood, there's like nothing for us that is by us anymore.
Right.
And so when I saw that, I was like, man, somebody that's not Black is going to scoop this up. Like, we need to figure it out. So we had a family meeting and we all pulled our resources together. And we were like, so Black girls from Inglewood about to own what was the Savoy. We're going to rename it. We're actually painting and pulling up the floors right now. It's a whole thing. But yeah, between the three of us, we own basically all the nightlife in Inglewood right now, because there's Champ City, what will soon be a new Savoy, and then my sisters have their wine bar in Inglewood too. So that was our goal, because who wants to live in Inglewood and not have a place to go?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I want a place to go.
Right. Period. So, well, that's amazing. Congratulations to you and your family, and for having the insight and the resources to make that happen. You know, I actually graduated from Inglewood. So
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. Well, because I was in foster care, and that's where the group home was at. So, you know, I would pass by the Savoy, like, you know.
Have you ever been to the Savoy?
I think I've been inside one time.
Oh, okay. Well, girl, when we reopen, you got to come. I got a booth for you.
Okay, definitely. So still like nightlife, club, kind of. Was there a restaurant in there, kind of?
I don't know if there was at any point. There is a full kitchen. And, you know, my sister's an event planner. I obviously have Champ City, and my other sister's an attorney. So, you know, we go out a lot. We like to party. So we kind of want to bring what we see in Hollywood. Like, think Poppies or like Nightingale in Inglewood. Like, that's what we always tell ourselves. Like, we want to bring a little bit of that experience to Inglewood, because we deserve it. Like, we deserve chandeliers and velvet couches. Like, we want to be plush. We want to be fly.
Right.
So we really want to elevate it and make it a place that locals can, you know, we want people from other places to come, but we want locals to be able to have a place too.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Well, shouts out to y'all. Can't wait to see the new space.
Tell us to the Inglewood to let us be so we can hurry up and get this open.
Right. Mayor Butts.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not, though.
Period. Hey.
Period.
Okay. So nightlife popping. You also got the juice bar.
Yep.
So yeah, like what made you want to get into like the juice business or having a juice bar?
You know, I'll be honest with you, like the juice bar is not my passion. My husband worked in the area, and he decided he wanted to start eating more healthy, and there was like no food options. So it was really his investment. And I guess my contribution to it is it's a franchise model, but I help organize it to make it more profitable. But to be honest with you, my passion is really the nightlife stuff and the beauty supply, and that's my lane.
Right.
That's kind of like his thing. And I think especially when you're like in business with people, you got to let them do what they're good at and what they love. And then you kind of like gravitate to what you like and you love, and you kind of flourish in that. So I help operate it, but I'm not like passionate about it.
Okay. I feel you. And that's important. You know, everyone plays a role, you know, especially in business. So,
right.
Okay, for sure.
Yes.
So, okay. So kind of let's talk a little bit about like COVID and kind of like surviving during COVID and what you and Ashley made happen over there at the Girl Cave. So,
man.
So, you know, the pandemic seems to be... No, I can't even start there because we got the Delta variant over here. We got, you know,
it's the pandemic that never ends for me. It's like you think it's over, and they got the Delta variant. Then I heard some new variant out. It's like more resistant.
Right. The pandemic that never ends. Okay. Right. So it's been over like a year and a half since the coronavirus, you know, halted life as we knew it. You know, they said your kids was going to be out of school for 2 weeks. Next thing I know, no, I'm just kidding.
We're going on 2 years.
You know, and people had to make adjustments, and they had to basically just deal with the fact that the government, this was their response to a global pandemic, you know. a lot of businesses close, a lot of businesses, especially in the Black and Latino community, because of the mandatory closures for the businesses to curb the spread. Um, so we all saw you all at the Girl Cave and get the products to the women that needed it, even during a global pandemic, right? So let's talk a little bit about some of the adjustments that you guys did make during the pandemic.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the pivot is 90% Ashley. I went into panic mode. I was like, girl, what we gonna do? I was like, oh my God. I was looking at expenses and she's like, no, hold up. We built an e-commerce. Ashley built an e-commerce platform for the Girl Cave L.A. and we hadn't utilized it. This is like such a time as now, right? Like, thank God we had a website. You think about a beauty supply, you don't really think about a website, but Ashley had the foresight years before to start building out our social media and our website and all of those things. So it's almost like God had prepared us for it and we didn't even know what we were preparing for. Because the truth is had we not had that platform, we would have shut down. There was no way for us to communicate with our consumers and no way for us to sell product. We sold products across the country. We were shipping out orders to Florida, New York, Texas, everywhere. But how were we going to do that if we had not had the blueprint already? So I can't take credit for that. Honestly, I went into straight panic mode like everybody else. I was in line at the grocery store buying Lysol, toilet tissue, on the phone with Ashley crying, girl, they're going to shut down my business. What I'm going to do? I'm going to have to figure it out. And she was like, no, like we don't. We got this. And so she kind of took on the e-commerce piece. And then I took on the delivery piece. And we really just tag team, like working together to get products to people. I mean, there was a point where we were hiring people to do deliveries. At one point, we just got in our own cars. You're like, just line them up for me. Tell me where I'm going. Ashley got the Valley today. I have the IE today. I have Baldwin Hills tomorrow. Like we were literally strategically planning, going to different parts of the city because we didn't really have an option. We had employees that were looking to us for jobs. Some of them, you know, obviously were really concerned with the virus, but some of them was concerned about keeping the roof over their head. And they were looking at us like, please don't lay us off. So we had that. We had our livelihoods at stake. We had our responsibility because none of our landlords, none of our vendors are like, oh, sure, it's coronavirus. You don't have to pay. We literally got a notice the day after they shut down everything. Your rent is still due. So we didn't have a choice.
Right.
So yeah, we built out our e-commerce more robustly. We did the delivery. We did call-in orders. We created a system for people to be able to safely shop in store where we let a few people in at a time and filter people out as quickly as possible. So we had less than like 4 or 5 people in the store at a time. And the truth is that those lines in front of our stores created more pandemic. It was like what you saw happen with the toilet tissues and the Lysol is exactly what happened with our business. People drove by and saw all these beauty supply clothes, but they saw ours with the line. And then all of a sudden it created kind of like a sense of, I need to get it. I need to get it. And we have, all of our locations had lines outside the door for months. And it was a blessing. Not the pandemic, the visibility for our business was a blessing.
Okay, definitely. Well, shouts out to Ashley.
Yeah, you gotta give it to Ashley because, you know, I break down real quick. She's like, get it together, girl.
So for those of us, well, we know, but for those who might be listening who might not know who Ashley is, can you give us just like a quick intro to Ashley, who's actually over here off camera?
That's honestly how she is right now is like very, this is like who she is to me, right? She's always in the background, but she's always giving support. Like I'm the one, I'm gonna be honest, like I like this kind of stuff. Like I like being in front of you. I like being in front of people. Ashley's like, girl, just give it to me. I'm gonna go home to the house. I'm gonna get it done. In her sweatpants, like she's the behind the scenes of it. So the Girl Cave, I remember I had like a personal crisis right when I was scheduled to open up my first store. And I called Ashley and I was like, girl, I need you today. She stopped everything she was doing to walk me through that personal crisis and to make sure my stores stayed open. And so she's really been like the backbone behind the Girl Cave L.A. Just like I said, no beauty supply store had a website, had a social media following or page like that I had ever seen until we did it. And then everybody mimicked what she had created.
As they usually do.
That's how that goes. Now every beauty supply store has a website, and every beauty supply store has an app and has a social media page. But what does it say? Ashley did it first. She did. She created it for us first.
Shouts out to Ashley, who actually has a background in like marketing and
shouts out to you, Tim.
No, shouts out to you. But so yeah, that's again going back to, you know, everyone having a role to play. And also shouts out to the people who are behind the scenes making it happen too.
Yeah.
And the people that actually have to be the face of it as well, because that's its own balancing act, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. How important would you say making adjustments in business is?
To me, it's the most important thing because things change literally by the hour sometimes. And so as a business owner, if I wasn't flexible and willing to adjust or know that was part of being a business owner, then you're not cut to do it.
Right.
Like when I say things, I promise you right now, as we're speaking, something is being shifted that I have no control over in some part of my business and somewhere. And I'm going to have to leave here. I'm going to have to get on the phone and I'm going to have to either fix it, shift it, move it. That's just part of it. I say my job is to put out fires. My team's job is to make sure that the fires don't happen. But when they do, it's my job to put them out. And that's my role and I accept it. So I don't even if you get into business or you are in business and you feel like everything's going to be the same and there's going to be consistency and that's not even realistic. You might as well get out now. That's not what this is.
Okay. All right, definitely. So, speaking of the Asian hair care industry by default, speaking a little bit about the Asian community, being a Black woman. So, I kind of wanted to touch on that statistic that I was telling you about. Black women and Asian men are supposed to be like in the lowest marrying pool. When you hear like statistics or statements like that, what comes to mind for you?
You know, I think it's that way because it's set up to be that way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, of course, Black women statistically are not married as much because we're not putting, you know, when you look at beauty, we're not put in the forefront of it. So the world doesn't see us as beautiful. I mean, I see you as beautiful. I see myself as beautiful. But like, if you look at the general like consensus of the world, like we are not typical to what beauty is.
Right.
And so the world is accustomed to look at us and not see beauty first. And so that's part of like getting married, right? It's a physical attraction first, and then you get to know the person and all of that.
Right.
So I think that when I think about that statistic, it's like, it's not shocking to me. So when I look at, I'm in publications, when I look at beauty magazines, it's very rare that you see beautiful images of Black women in the forefront, right? And not that I'm like, but then sometimes when you do see images of Black women, they're not realistic, right? They're like the BBL look, or they're like the whatever that is, that's not standard and typical.
Right.
It's not realistic. And so I struggle with that a lot, right? Like growing up around, you know, girls who are whatever, like pretty or whatever people say, fair skin girls, long hair girl, whatever that is that people say is typical. And it's kind of sick. Like when you think about it, like we're less desired because you say we're not. Like you decide who's desirable. So you put white women, you put these certain images in the forefront and you make them beautiful. And then as the repercussion, we're looked at as like, kind of like second choice. Like I hate the word exotic. Like when guys say, oh, she's an exotic. Like,
Same.
What you mean? Like that's
a
whack.
Foreign. You need a foreign.
Yeah, that's whack. Do you understand how whack that is?
Right.
That your mentality tells you that I'm less beautiful because you like exotics or foreign, like that. It's a mindset. It's really a mindset that has been like perpetrated and like accentuated and like really put out there. So like when girls like you and I show up, right?
Mm.
I just posted something recently. Like I got so irritated. I was in Alabama
Mm-hmm.
and a black guy told me, he said, "You're a pretty brown girl. You're a pretty brown skinned girl.
Mm.
Why you gotta put brown skin in front of it? Like
Right.
either I'm pretty or just don't say nothing."
Mm.
Because it's that thing that like we kind of,
The colorism.
yeah, it's all of that. Like it's more than we could even really like talk about in like this conversation, because it really is like a mindset, is how we look at each other.
Right.
But we look at each other a certain way because of how other people look at us. So now because somebody who sets a standard of beauty says that foreign is cute, now girls like you and I are not fly. Well, I know I'm fly. So I don't know what y'all talking about. You know what I mean? But a lot of girls have that mindset. And so we maybe show up too where we feel like we're not desirable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole thing, girl. It just, all of it bothers me. That's why I make sure, like, at the Girl Cave L.A., like, I hire girls that look like everything. Like, I don't want no typical, I don't care what you look like. As long as you show up to work and you fly in your way, you got to be fly, right? But, like, your version of fly, not what I think is fly, or not what, like, a magazine says is fly, or not what, like, some people on the other side of the country say is fly. Like, be fly in your way.
Right.
Then like those are the kind of girls I want working for me. So, you know, black girls, yeah, we fly. I don't care what these people's statistics say.
We the prototype.
We the prototype. You know, they copy us.
We the prototype. And you know, not to be hyping our, you know, pumping our own horn, but who birthed, I'm just saying, the civilization. You know what I'm saying? But we love everybody.
We love everybody.
Because you are sons. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to cut that part out. I'm just kidding. I'm going to cut that part out. Don't worry.
Period.
Excuse me.
It is though. White people decide what's on TV.
Right.
What's in media. They do.
Because they own.
Because they own these. They own it. So they get to choose what's on in the forefront.
Right.
So if you don't see a girl like me on the forefront, then if you see a girl like me, I'm not desirable to you, because that's not what you see as beauty.
Right.
So we all, everything is conditioned.
Right. Well, that is why the fact that you bought Hype Hair magazine, you know, not only to like go hand in hand with your beauty supply businesses, but you also have the opportunity to curate and promote, you know, these beautiful images of Black women, right? I know recently you guys had like Trina for this edition, like
unbelievable.
You know, you had Toya, Sierra and her glam shop. How
Dr. Heavenly.
Oh, you did have Dr. Heavenly.
Rashida.
Oh, I know. I'm just I'm not trying to miss nobody. Who else we had? We have Rashida, you know, like beautiful
had,
boss women.
Kim Kimball. Man, it was just like you said, just like boss women, like beautiful women on the cover.
How does that feel for you to be in this position to, again, help to curate and promote the images of these Black women?
Yeah, so it's what I recognize as like my passion and my purpose right now. And so I wrote an article in Hype Hair recently, and I mentioned something about my daughter is 17, and she goes to a school where she's a minority. And all of a sudden she was like, "Mom, I don't want to straighten my hair anymore. Like, I'm just going natural." And I said, "Well, what makes you say that?" And she said, "Because I realized I'm straightening my hair to look like these girls. And now my hair is messed up and I had pretty curls. Now my hair is jacked up because I'm trying to look like..." She's 16 years old at the time and had this awareness. And so I think about that a lot. Like when I'm doing Hype Hair and when we're like putting out images, like I know that girls like my daughter look at these images on social media and digitally, and that is their beauty target, right? Like you look at that and you want to mimic it. So I know I have a responsibility to put out images that are realistic. I know they have a duty to put out images that are inclusive, right? Like not just one type of girl.
Right.
Like we, you know, I love wigs, obviously, but I also like my hair natural. So I would like be doing the magazine a disservice if I just focus on girls that wore their hair a certain type of way.
Right.
So we try to cover it all shades, all styles, all parts of the country. We want the LA girl, we want the New York girl, we want the Texas girl, we want all of that. So when girls look at our magazine, they see some version of themselves or something to aspire to that's like really realistic. So my daughter, God bless her heart, that she went through that privately, right? That she really thought that she had to go get her hair pressed every week to assimilate. Now she's a totally different kid now. But part of that is like what we think about when we do hype hair. Like it's a girl like Kayla, my daughter, that's reading this magazine. So what are we telling her?
Okay, so let the people know how they can stay up to date with Hype Hair Mag, how they can get their copies and just read the articles and keep up with all the content.
Yeah, so you can go to hypehair.com. That's our digital platform. So you can go on there and see all of the articles that we're putting out, all of the hairstyles, all of the stylists that we're featuring. And so part of my mission when I went back, when we took over Hype Hair, was to get it back to print. Right, because I remember Hype Hair was a tangible hardcover magazine. Like you flip through it. So, obviously publication is different now. We can't go back to print every single month.
Right.
But Trina's cover is going to print.
Period.
Miss 305, the baddest chick. So
Right.
you'll be able to go into your local hair salon. You'll be able to go on our website and purchase a hard copy of that magazine. We got a lot of good content in it. We work really hard on, not that we don't work hard on all of the editions, but this is probably the hardest we worked.
Right. Okay.
On it. Yeah.
Okay. You guys also have like a subscription based situation too. So,
Yes. So you can subscribe on the website. It's $19.99 for the year. You get all the digital, and then you get access to like giveaways that we do with some of our advertisers. So it's really cool. I mean, for $20 a year, you get 11 copies of a magazine plus the access to the giveaways. It's really cool. And then you can buy the hard copies. We're actually working on a portal now for people to be able to go online and just buy the hard copies of the magazine when we release it.
Nice.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. Hype Hair is back in print.
Period. That's what's up, Leah. What made you want to purchase the magazine?
The real answer is because a white man and an Asian man owned it. And I said, ain't no way in the world that a white man and an Asian man are going to tell Black girls across the country.
Right.
So some of the things that I do now at this point in my career and life, like I feel like I've done all the things that I have to do. Like sometimes I just feel like I'm going to do things that just need to be done. Like, it's like Hype Hair needs to be in the hands of a Black woman.
Period.
Right? Insert new Black woman that buys it from me there. If I ever sell the magazine, it will be to a woman that is Black.
Right.
It has to be. Because there's no way that somebody that's not us can tell our story. It's the #1 Black hair care magazine in the world. Why does a white and Asian man tell that story? You understand how crazy that is?
Right.
And so how you're responding is how I responded when I found out. And I was like, what do they say? Not on my watch. Right. We have to figure that out. And so that was what put that in me to say, this doesn't feel right.
Because it ain't right.
Because it ain't right. Right? When it don't feel right, it ain't right. So that was my first mission of it. And then my second was that obviously I'm in this space anyway, right? With the beauty supply stores. I wanted to continue and to increase my reach on how I spoke to Black women about how we look.
Right.
Like that, like I said, having daughters and knowing how much they care about how they look and how like outside forces like kind of, can penetrate how you feel about yourself. I know it's like most important. Like it's so important that I put Black women on the cover of Hype Hair. Like the Trina cover, like that. Like I want every Black girl in America to see. I want every Black girl in the world to see that. Like she is fly and she's been doing it for 20 years.
Right.
21 years in the industry. And she looks like that. Like Black girls need to see that and know we can be fly.
Right.
So that's why I brought Hype Hair for sure.
Well, that's amazing. And I'm glad that you did that. And I wish you was a Virgo, but you're not a Virgo. But you almost a Virgo.
Because you're Leo season.
Right. But outside of the the astrology stuff, you're yourself, Lia Dias, and like it's just really powerful to see a woman like yourself and also, the women that help you because teamwork definitely makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
But it's just really powerful to see the moves that you're making and just like really snatching up like things that are important, and then they all in a sense kind of tie into the business empire that you're building. So kudos to you.
Thank you, girlfriend.
Of course. Before we cut out, we got maybe about 5 or 10 more minutes, I do want to talk about like raising little brother and sister. I'm sorry, what is their names?
Colin Jr. and Kaylin.
Okay.
And then my oldest daughter is Kayla. Yes, I got 3.
Okay. You're raising 2 younger children in addition to your 17-year-old daughter. And your 2 youngest are actually with your husband, and they are interracial children. What are they mixed with?
So their father is Egyptian and Indian. So my youngest kids are Black, like me, Egyptian, and Indian. So they're literally all 3 things into one.
Nice.
But with my kids, my oldest is very clear about who she is. She's 17 years old. She knows she's a Black woman, right? Like I put that in her. She gets it. I think with my younger ones, the struggle is I'm not going to say the struggle. What I make sure that they understand is that they are Black, right? Because they don't, some of the spaces that they're in, people ask, like I had a kid, what are you? Like kids ask that. Like, it's a weird question, right? For a 6-year-old to navigate. Like I had my daughter come home from school one day and ask, like, what am I? Somebody asked me, what am I? Because my hair was, our hair is big and it's curly and it's confusing. It's confusing to kids, confusing to adults too. But they have a Black mother, so I make sure they understand they're Black first.
Right.
And because that's how the world's going to see them. And then they can understand their culture from their dad's side, obviously as like an extra bonus. But I think about people like Barack Obama, right? Like he had a white mother, but the world didn't see that.
Right.
The world saw him as a Black man first. Nobody even cared that his mother was white. They saw him as Black first. So my kids have to understand that yes, you are biracial, but the world doesn't see that. The world sees my son as a Black boy. The world sees my daughter as a Black girl first. And then, you might look and say, well, maybe she's mixed with something, or maybe he's mixed with something, but you Black. Like my son Black. Like when you get pulled over by the cops, you're gonna be a Black boy. Like when you apply to college, they're gonna see you as a Black boy first. So it's hard. When I say it's hard because my husband has such a strong culture. But here in America, like I feel like part of that really doesn't matter. That's the way I see it. It could be different for other people, but the way I see it, we don't value culture here in America. Like it's race. It's you're either Latino, Black, or white. And people treat you that way based upon what they see first. They don't care about that your dad's from Egypt, and your mom is from here. You Black. So you need to navigate the world accordingly. Period.
Okay.
Look, I said period. You Black.
What are as you go out into the world, and you have to navigate these different spaces, especially in business, what are some of the things that you keep kind of at the forefront of your mind to keep you grounded? Again, because, oftentimes the way that people respond to Black women or people of color is, it's often just like, it's a lot of like microaggressions or just like a lot of like, why is this happening? How do you keep yourself grounded?
Man, I don't know that I stay grounded. I try. But I guess one of the main things that I do is I advocate for myself all the time.
Right.
Because I know no one else in this world, husband, whoever, like pick a person.
Right.
Is going to advocate for me the way that I know I need to be advocated for. So I kind of don't allow people to do certain things in my space. And I call things out and I tell people like, yeah, I don't like that. Don't do that.
Right.
Not with me. You can do it, but you can't do it with me.
Right.
If you want to do it, you and I are not going to be able to work together. I had an incident a couple of weeks ago where somebody, we're having a regular business dispute. This person literally took it to a level where they were calling me out of my name and this and that. And so I had to take a step back and let them finish because I'm not going to yell and scream with anybody. But now I have to let you know I'll never work with you again. Like never. I don't care if you're the last person on earth. I will never engage with you like that again because that's so beneath who I am. Like I don't even move like that.
Okay.
So the best thing that I do like to stay grounded is I'm just like clear about like what I tolerate and what I don't. Certain things I tolerate, certain things I'm flexible about, certain things I'm not. Like I'm not going to tolerate certain things in my space and I'm clear about it and I tell people, I advocate for myself. And if they don't like it, that's cool. We don't have to work together. We don't have to be in the same space. I'm going to remove myself. And I don't say yes to anything that doesn't feel right either. Like if I feel like I'm stepping into a situation with someone and I feel like the disrespect is going to be a little too high or I feel like I'm going to have to give up too much of who I am to be involved, there's too much opportunity in the world for me to kind of like sell myself to work with someone or to have an opportunity, something else to come along.
Right.
I just stay true to myself. That's it.
Period. So, before we close out, I definitely want to just, what business advice would you give to women who want to go into business for themselves and maybe don't know where to start? And how can women become involved with the Girl Cave in terms of becoming like a franchisee?
Yeah, that's good stuff. I always give the same advice, but I'll add on to it. So first thing I say is do your own homework. So getting into the beauty supply industry, everybody was like, oh, girl, you ain't going to be able to do it. They don't sell to Black people. And I'm asking people who don't have beauty supplies how to open up a beauty supply. It don't even make sense, right?
Right.
So do your own research and kind of like figure out what is good for you and what makes sense for you and what is going to be your path. And I don't really talk to people about business things that if you haven't done it before, because it's not valuable. You know what I mean? Like, why would I go ask somebody that don't have a beauty supply store how to open up one? So do your own research, ask the right people. And then the second thing is that, you got to give up a little bit in the beginning to kind of get to the next level, but don't give up too much, right? Like there were certain things that I did in the beginning for free or I did at a discount or all those kind of things. But as I got the experience, then I started to like gauge and navigate. I'm not going to always give it up for free or always give it up without. So it's that thing, right? It's a balance. You can't go in with that mindset, like I'm not doing anything without, but then you can't hold on to that mindset as you climb. So you really have to understand that balance. And, you got to do things for free in the beginning. You got to do things at a discount in the beginning. But as you scale and you know your worth and you're like, you got to ask for what you're worth.
Right.
Because that's the only way you're going to grow.
Right.
If you keep doing things at a discount or for free or giving the homie this for that, like you don't have a business, you got a nonprofit. So
a nonprofit.
You know what I'm saying? You can be a nonprofit in the beginning as you're growing.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's time to make that money, you're in business to make money. That's why I tell my staff all the time, I'm not in business for charity. I'm in business to make money so we can all take care of our families.
Right.
So
period.
Okay.
Man, what is that? Period. I didn't cut out definitely and put period all up in here.
Yeah.
Somebody said I use definitely a lot. I still do it though. I'm trying to figure it out. But okay.
I love period. I say period after everything. That's what it is. Period. I tell my kids that.
Just so you know that this is set in stone.
It's set in stone.
It is what it is.
Period.
No, but I just feel like, Black women conversations, that really comes up a lot. Period. So
it does. It's our word.
Right. It is. Okay, cool. So yeah, how can people who are interested in becoming a franchisee, having their own beauty supply under the Girl Cave banner?
Got it. So we do two things now because we were really pushing the franchises. But what I realize is, us women, we like to have our own thing, right? And so what we've really been doing a lot is coaching and doing that thing where we show people from start to finish how to open up a beauty supply store.
Nice.
So you can have a franchise if you want to be a part of the Girl Cave LA, but I tell people, be clear about it. If you open up a Girl Cave LA, you're doing it my way, right? You're doing it the Girl Cave LA way. It's my model. It's what we created, and you have to follow that when you sign a contract to be a part of the Girl Cave LA.
Right.
If you love your model and you love your logo and you love your vision, use us to help you support it. And then we can help you get those vendor accounts, and we can help you do your pricing and all of that stuff. So it's two ways you can go. I want all Black women to be able to have access to get into this industry. So I don't want to be the gatekeeper of it. It's like, oh, you got to do a Girl Cave LA to get into the industry. No, you want to do your own. That's fine. But don't knock your head against the wall trying to figure out how to do what we've been doing for the last almost 7 years now. Like, use our expertise, use my COO, Abriana, who does all of our operations, and then use Ashley, who's our digital marketing genius and does all of that. And then use me, who's kind of like has a bird's eye view of what it should look like. And so, you could go to the girlcavela.com. You send us an inquiry. You let us know if you want to do franchising consulting. We set up a discovery call, and if we have space on our schedule, we take you on. Yeah, it's that simple.
Okay.
It's that easy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Lia, I just want to salute you and thank you for being a genuine person too, because that's like a big thing is people feel intimidated a lot of times to approach people that are successful. And so I just, you're a very opening and warm person. So I just thank you for being a genuine person.
Thank you for that. I really don't know how to be any other way. Like, people come up to me and they're like, oh my God, I didn't think, I'm really I don't know how to navigate life any other way besides being who I always have been. So thank you for seeing that. That's really cool.
Yes, of course. Yes. Of course. We got a lot of productions and fake stuff in the world, so we don't need,
we don't need another.
No, it's depressing. Very depressing. But again, thank you so much. And just let the people know where they can visit the Girl Cave LA, one of your various locations from here to Texas.
Man.
To Anaheim to Compton.
Right. Everywhere. So
everywhere.
We got 2 locations in Compton, Girl Cave LA's. We have one in Los Angeles on Manchester and St. Andrews. We're in Anaheim, Orange County area. We're in Dallas, Texas. We're opening up another location in Inglewood. So you can go on our website, girlcavela.com, and see all of our locations. And you can shop online too. You don't have to be in LA or Dallas to shop Girl Cave LA. We ship around the world. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We ship everywhere.
Okay. That's what's up. Oh, you got any ebooks coming out or any public,
you know what? It's so funny you said that. That's really funny you said that. I've gotten a push to kind of create some more digital marketing tools to help women get into not just the beauty industry, but just business in general. At this point, I've made so many mistakes, and I feel like I've paid for my mistakes. So I'm going to start putting a lot of my thoughts down in writing. I have a lot of just things I want to pour in, because Black women, we're geniuses. We're smart. We navigate some of the most complex, difficult situations. There's no way in the world that we shouldn't be further along from a capital perspective, because we can do it.
Right.
But we need people like me. We need people that have been successful in certain industries to pass that along. So I would rather you be my competition than somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't see you as my competition, but we got to help each other.
True. I think though that Black people, we should start to see, well, not each other as the competition, friendly competition to gauge where you're at, but we have to start seeing other people as the competition, because they looking at us not the competition. Now we're the food, we're the opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
But it is a race to resources and capital and all that stuff. And it is, in a sense, a competition out here,
It's literally, it's the matter. You think about even the PPP loans, right? Black and brown businesses didn't thrive or survive because it was a race to the dollars. And we was at the end of the line, so our businesses failed. But So the Lakers got millions.
Mm-hmm.
All these big corporations got millions, but you being the mom and pop on the corner can't get a little bit of money.
Right.
So it's that thing. It is a competition. We always have to be thinking
Mm-hmm.
that it's a competition because it is in business.
Definitely.
Mhm.
And sorry, I lost my train of thought. Competition. I had a follow-up thought that was going to be good, but for some reason it's in the abyss somewhere. But yeah, we have to. It's we have to be able to compete. Black people, we're not. A lot of us are not in a position to compete at a large, like, you know, on the same playing field as some of the people in the other races.
Right.
Is what I was trying to get to. So, yeah, we have to compete, and then we also have to like bring ourselves up to a level to even compete.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's good to have examples like yourself, you know,
you.
And it kind of just lets girls know what is possible.
It is.
You put the work in, of course.
Absolutely.
And have some
Anything
vision
is
and
possible.
foresight. But yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Leah, for your time.
Thank you. This is really cool. I love chatting with you. It's easy.
As it should be, you know. Make sure you follow Leah at Lia Dias. Follow the Girl Cave at Girl Cave
Beauty. Yes.
L.A. at the end, or just Girl Cave Beauty?
Girl Cave Beauty. Uh-huh.
And yeah, I would throw Ashley's handle out there, but I don't know if that's a personal page. But yeah, Girl Cave L.A.
Ashley is the Champ City page. Ashley
at Champ City Bar.
At Champ City Bar. If you're talking to Champ City, then you're talking to Ashley.
Okay. All right. So yeah. Thanks again.
No,
Leah.
thank you. I appreciate it. This was good.